In London, on the 23rd of April 2002, the Paraiso School of Samba was formed. By early summer, they'd performed at Her Majesty the Queen's Golden Jubilee Parade and, shortly afterwards, when Brazil won the World Cup, at an impromptu samba party in Trafalgar Square, which dominated national news bulletins. The hat-trick was to be the Notting Hill Carnival a mere 4 months after the group's creation, a parallel perhaps with their emblem on which a phoenix rises from the ashes to proclaim its newborn strength and being. It also embodies hope for the future. The group, many of whom are Brazilian, permanently resident in London, practice for the carnival in a church hall in Covent Garden. It is here that they establish their individual roles for the parade and assess the aims and identity of Paraiso as a whole. At its heart are two brothers, founder members Enrique and Mestre Esteves da Silva. Enrique is a professional dancer and dance teacher, and Mestre Esteves is a master of bateria, Samba's drum section. Master is an honorary title conferred on Esteves in Brazil that reflects his experience and ability in this, the most colourful and vibrant of art forms.
My name is, I've got long name, big name. My whole name is Paulo Henrique Rodrigues da Silva, but my stage name is Enrique da Silva. I born in Brazil, Rio de Janeiro. My whole family is from Manaus, and I've been brought up in Rio. And I started doing carnival since the 9 years old. Samba is the combine of percussionist, rhythm, dance, music, and sing, and the visual look all together, and that needs to be an incorporation of head and body working together. The difference of Paraiso, we try to bring a real samba to London, and an authentic original samba from London that you don't get here.
My name is Esteves. I'm Master Steve from Rio de Janeiro. I'm from traditional school Samba Rio called Stas de Sá, and here I'm the president of Paraiso.
My name is Al. This instrument is a cuica, and I owe it to Mestre Esteves here for some very good tuition.
This instrument is a very important instrument because they got different instruments in the battery. We got caixas de guerra, snare drum. It's snare drum.
Snare drums, yeah.
Snare drum. We got repique, basically repique to more solo part. And got big drums, the bass. But this small instrument play in the front, but give the bass for the big drums. So it's a very important instrument.
It's played by rubbing the stick. It's very hard work, arrangements are worked out. People must know the places, the patterns, what they must do, when to come in, when to stop, what they have to do. So this mental concentration is quite important. playing, you're always on a, you get on a high, big adrenaline rush, and you can play for 2 or 3 hours.
When you play Samba, we left all your problems, all your stress behind. Just yourself, you and your instrument. Just enjoy. Forget everything. Just play.
I'm Richard Galbraith. I'm not really involved with the Samba part at all. I'm really involved with the running of the organisation and trying to get the whole thing off the ground. As you know, it started on the 23rd of April, which is not very long ago. And we have to deal with something like almost 300 people. And one of the big challenges is, first of all, setting up the organisation to deal with that. And secondly, getting a communication system going so that these 300 people all feel as though they belong to an organisation. And that's really been the challenge over the last couple of months. I've got a pretty stressful full-time job already, and almost every other waking hour at the moment is, well, for the last 3 months, has been spent trying to organise and help Paraiso. So I typically do something from 7 o'clock at night until something like 1 o'clock in the morning. So it's a pretty full-time occupation. I mean, I think every conversation that I have is to do with Paraiso and what's happening and how we can make it better and how we can deal with the problems. My first encounter with Samba was last year when I watched the Notting Hill Carnival. I was pretty impressed by the performance there. But the real contact, I suppose, came in my visit to Brazil over Christmas, when everybody, of course, is busy preparing for the carnival there. And it was at the time, I suppose, when I first realised that Samba was a little bit more than dancing and carnival, because a visit to Rio brings home to you the fact that this is a movement that involves the whole community. It's to do with taking kids off the street, giving them an objective in life, and getting them dancing or playing, which is a bit better than misbehaving on the street. So I think Samba's a lot more than what it appears to be at first sight. It's the whole social context. And Paraiso has made a pretty good start, I think, at that, because since it started on the 23rd of April, it's done a number of projects with schools in London, in North London with 4 schools, teaching the kids percussion, teaching them dance, teaching them how to make costumes, and putting them together into a parade in Finchley. And another project in South London, in Norwood, putting on a show, a very big show actually, with something over 200 children, doing a show all about Brazil, about the culture, about the geography, the music, the dance, and almost every aspect of Brazilian life. So Paraiso's involvement in the community, I think, has started, pretty strongly. And I think it's an aspect that I'd like to see develop even more.
This 2002 Notting Hill Carnival, I'll be the Queen of Bateria, so it's very important job. We're gonna be like, in Brazil, Queen, we translate not Queen, we translate like Godmother. I'll be like represent the person who's going to dance the rhythm of the bateria. Bateria has got all these drums, all these lovely noisy, but wonderful percussion drums that you have. So I have to dance the rhythm and represent all the happiness of Brazil brings with this rhythm that's come from Brazil. As our life, it's to dance. We dance since we're born. It's like we are sort of people that you have the rhythm in our soul, in our body. We like to be in the street, we like to be in a pub. We don't like to go to a pub and just sit down and enjoy your drink. We go and actually we enjoy the rhythm of the music that we're playing there. If the music is good, the pub is going to be successful.
last year I was queen of the drummers, queen of the bateria, and this year I'm choreographing for the Comissão de Frente, which is the very front panel of people, the very first thing you see when the parade begins. Samba is something that you have to feel. It's something that when I teach, you never lead the music. The music always leads you. And you have to go with a kind of sense of abandonment to get anywhere. Because there are people who know 1, 2, 3 step, they know where to move, but they're not enjoyable to watch. You need to go and just really let yourself go.
My name's Patricia. My role in Paraiso Samba, I'm dance coordinator, so it's basically working with Enrique and David Johnson just to make sure the dancers know what they're doing, build up to Carnival. We've got to make sure that we get everybody registered on time. We've got to make sure that workshops are up and running for costumes to get everybody fitted, find out who wants to be in which sort of section for the dance group. And it's a lot because everybody wants to be in something. My day starts 5:30 in the morning, and by the time we get to the venue, we've got to make sure that all the costumes, a lot of the times a lot of last minute sewing, gluing, whatever to be done, and to ensure that all the dancers are ready themselves. So not only do we have to worry about ourselves, we have all the dancers to worry about. And for us to be on the road come 11 o'clock, get everybody out ready, looking great.
Pure Brazilian samba has its origins in Rio de Janeiro 70 years ago, and the traditions that have evolved over the decades are very much respected and deferred to on each parade today. Every school of samba chooses a theme each year. It can be topical, such as a political theme or contemporary aspect of society that deserves illumination, or perhaps just one of the many joyous events that are a reason for living, such as a birth or marriage. These themes may include elements of other performing arts, such as ballet, circus trouping, or grand theatre. African and European influences are also acceptable. As Paraiso is a new school of samba, their theme is self-proclamation, with an emphasis that Paraiso is samba. Samba is Paraiso. On Carnival Day itself, the group decamped to the North Kensington Community Centre known as the Feathers to make their final preparations. The Feathers is an appropriate name. Paraiso's will be one of the largest parades of the day, with over 200 performers taking part. Due to Enrique and Mestre Estevez's extensive connections and fine reputation in the world of samba, people have begged to be included.
There's a man come 3 of them and stop the dancers. And the dancer doesn't know, he just goes to oppose. So what's happened? This stage open a gap.
Many performers have flown in from Brazil or travelled from Europe to be here. At least 20 slept on the crowded community centre floor overnight. In addition, 60 stewards will escort the group throughout the 3-mile route that traverses Ladbroke Grove and Westbourne Park, as well as Notting Hill itself. The parade can take 5 hours to complete, depending on the size of the crowds and carnival float jams that occur. 1 million people will attend over the course of the bank holiday weekend.
Anyone wants to go to Rio Carnival, so we want to bring to London this.
Although parading at Carnival is great fun, it's taken very seriously by most of the participants as well. People are strutting their stuff to impress as well as have a good time. When the Batteria started up, it was a tremendous rallying call. Paraiso were one fighting unit ready to march.
When we do the carnival, the day we do the parade, is a war, okay? But Paraiso will bring a war of confetti and color happiness.
Each Samba school adopts 2 or 3 primary colours. Paraisos are red and white, and their costume designs are dominated by these colours, although they are not employed exclusively. The phoenix emblem and musical symbol of a pandera, a tambourine, also predominate.
Get away, Jed.
Each section of the parade is called an ala. At the very front is the Comissão de Frente. They are the face and smile of Paraiso, and their dance is choreographed. The phoenix costumes have wings with letters spelling Paraiso when the arms are held to the left, and Samba when the arms are held to the right. The porta-bandeira is Paraiso's resplendent queen, and she holds the group's flag. Escorted by the Mestre Sala, they are the only 2 members of the parade that don't Samba. Their movements are purposefully balletic and graceful. The Ala Penta celebrate Brazil's achievement in winning football's World Cup a couple of months prior to Carnival. It is also a tribute to their team's previous victories. Football, religion and samba are wonderful for social cohesion in Brazil. They have no barriers to entry. The Ala Penta are a guest ala in this parade, as are Paraiso themselves, in what is generally a Caribbean carnival.
Thank you to the Caribbean people for giving the space to us doing carnival with all of you guys, and we do promise a sensational carnival for this year.
Ala Brazil represent the rising sun and the warmth of the Brazilian people. The Abre Ala float has a phoenix at its front and is decorated as a giant pandera. It represents paradise. Paraiso means paradise in Portuguese, Brazil's native language. Adam and Eve are trying to resist temptation, dressed appropriately in black. In the Ala Miriam section, the focus is on children, the future of Paraiso. This is how Enrique Estevez and all the great carnivalescos started in Carnival. Their costumes are based on the clothing worn by the indigenous Indians of Brazil and are made from simple materials such as raffia. Miriam is the Indian word for children, and an Indio Ala is included in all Samba schools. The children here were involved in the production of their own outfits in workshops at the Tricycle Theatre in London. The The ala baiana encompasses the age range of human existence. Their dresses are adaptations of traditional colonial wear. The ala bateria is the heart of the parade. Their drum beats fuel the dancers and thrill the crowd around them. Rosa dances to the rhythm of the drums. It's what authentic Brazilian samba is all about. The splendid outfits are in Latin American style, except for the hats, which are a mix of European, African and Indian influences. Puxadores, cavaquinho, violão and sound system are very important as they provide the melody to complement the bateria. The main song they sing is the Narrator, specially written for the carnival by Alex de Cavaco and Mestre Estevez. It encaptures the celebratory raptures of the day. The first verse translates as, "Come with me, my love, let's have some fun as today is a day of celebration. Dress in all your splendor, our samba school is radiating jubilation. Everybody hear me shout that today I'm red and white. Ogum, my father, shines his light upon our path." Costumes created in Notting Hill show the carnival of my Brazil. The fast and furious dances of the alapasistas display the pure joy of losing oneself in dance. The yellow in their phoenix-inspired costume symbolises the flames of an immortal strength and dynamism. The penultimate ala is that of the Carioquina, native people of Rio de Janeiro. It's a tribute to Paraiso's ancestral roots. Ala Jingu proudly brings up the Rio. The Jingu are one of the strong indigenous tribes of the Amazon, and this ala is a common component of a Rio Samba school. They represent the flora and fauna of Brazil in an attempt to remind spectators of the need to preserve the Earth's natural resources. day after their outstanding carnival display, Paraiso's featured in 5 major newspapers. They were generally acknowledged to be the #1 parade of the carnival. Due to it being their first parade, they were not allowed to place in the official voting.
Entrevistamos a la gente, ¿no?